Hello everyone, I'm Bhavna Singh. Welcome back to Insightonomics. So let's start the topic for today without a further ado. In this video, we are going to solve for consumer surplus, okay, based on the non-linear demand functions using an integration. So we are going to solve for a mathematical expression for consumer surplus for these given demand functions. So these are the non-linear demand functions, and these are like the inverse demand functions where price is a function of quantity demanded, okay, and we have to solve for the consumer surplus. And I know, I'm assuming that you know the concept of consumer surplus, which is a difference between your maximum willingness to pay and what you actually pay. So you have been already given your Q star, that is, you want to consume this much amount of quantity demanded, like you want to consume this much amount of a quantity. And so, what would be the equilibrium price for it, and what would be your maximum willingness to pay for this? So, when you get these particular value, you will find your consumer surplus. So let's do it. Okay. So first, let me write. So first, what is your consumer surplus? Is your maximum willingness to pay. You can denote it with P minus your equilibrium price, what you actually pays. Okay. This is the formula for consumer surplus. What you actually want to, what you are maximum, what you are, what is your maximum willingness to pay, and what you actually pays, and into like the number of units that you want to consume of that particular commodity. So this is a particular formula for the consumer surplus. Now first tell you a little bit about the basics. So in case of non-linear demand functions, like, okay, I'll tell you about two functions like that. Non-linear curves are of many types. Just to make you understand, I'm telling you like this. Suppose this is your demand curve. This is non-linear, or you might have this kind of demand curve. This is known as parabolic curve. This is rectangular hyperbola. So in case of non-linear demand curves, we use integration to find the consumer surplus. Okay. So here is your price. It's quantity, and price. Okay. So now we'll solve for first given demand function. So first, what is the given demand function? P is equals to 27 minus 3Q minus Q square, where Q star is given as 3. Okay. Okay, let me tell you one thing as well. Suppose you got your demand, your P star and Q star here. This is your P star, this is your Q star, and something here you will get your P, maximum willingness to pay. Okay, so this particular rectangle, this particular triangle represents your consumer surplus, and this particular rectangle represents your price into quantity. That is, you can say it's a total revenue, like P star into Q star. This is the area of this particular triangle. Normally अगर आप mathematically देखते हो आप तो area of a triangle is represented by base into height. So this is your base, this is your height. So your base represents Q star, your height represents your P star. And in economics, your P into Q is your total revenue. So हमें क्या करना है in order to find a consumer surplus? हमें पूरा ये जो area है, let me use a different color. First, we have to find the value of this much area, okay, using integration, and then we will minus this particular rectangle out of that, so that we'll left out with this particular triangle, which is our consumer surplus. Okay, so first we will integrate with respect to quantity demanded Q So we will integrate with respect to 0 to q star, so that we will able to find this much of area, the value for this much whole area, and then we will minus this rectangle because we have the value for this rectangle already given. We have a p star and q star, so we can find the area of this particular rectangle. So by finding the area of this whole curve, this area below the demand curve up to this q star level, we will minus this particular p star q star, and we will get our consumer surplus, the value for this particular triangle. Okay, so let's solve it. Okay, let me. So you have already given as q star. So first we'll find the p star. So 27 will replace this q with q star. 3. So it is 3 minus 3 square. We will solve it. So you will get p is equals to 9. So your p star is equals to 9. And your q star is already given in your question. Okay. Now we have to find the horizontal and vertical intercept on a curve. हम कर्व को बिना बनाए भी इसको सॉल्व कर सकते हैं, बट अगर कर्व सॉरी ग्राफिकल डिपिक्शन करेंगे तो ये और भी अच्छा रहेगा, हमें समझ में अच्छे से आएगा. सो आई एम डूइंग दैट फॉर यू. So again, like in order to find the vertical and horizontal intercept, first put price is equals to 0, then q is equals to 0. So in such particular, in this type of demand function, you will get this type of curve. So when you put prices q is equals to 0, sorry, when you put q is equals to 0, let me use different color. Your price will be 27, and this is your maximum willingness to pay. Mainly in case of consumer surplus, we are more considerate about the P and P star and Q star. तो हमें हमारा P मिल गया. This is your P, which is equals to 27, and this is your maximum willingness to pay. And we have been already given the Q star, and we have already find out our P star. Okay, we have P, we have P star, we have Q star. Okay, so based on this particular function, the given function, you will get, or let me use different color, you will get this type of demand curve. Okay, so this vertical intercept you will get at 27, and this P, this 20, and you have been given already your Q star. Let's say your Q star is this is your Q star. Okay, now so at this Q star you have been given your P star. Your P star is 9. Okay, so at Q star, this is your P star. P star is equals to 9, and your Q star is equals to 3. So now in this case, let me put this point is let E. Okay. So your consumer surplus is equals to, in this case, will be the area, the total area, I will say, total area below demand curve, below demand curve up to Q star, like up to this point. Total area below the demand curve. This is your demand curve. Up minus this particular area of this rectangle. Okay, which is, we can say, minus area of O P star E Q star rectangle. Because as you know, this particular triangle represents the consumer surplus. So we have to find the value for this particular triangle. But for that, what we will do, first we will derive then this total area of this O P E and Q star, this total area O, P, E and Q star, we will derive in a value of this using integration, and then we will minus this particular P star and Q star, this particular triangle. So we will left out with this particular triangle. Okay, sorry, this is the rectangle. When we minus this surplus. Okay, so for that we will use integration. So what are our limits? This is from 0 to 3. कि 0 से लेके 3 तक हमारा डिमांड कर्व के नीचे एरिया कितना रहेगा? We have to find the value for that. So we will use integration. So in this particular case, what will be the formula for consumer surplus using integration? So it will be like C into S. This is your consumer surplus will be equals to, when we integrate with respect to quantity demanded. So what are our limits? We have to find the area from 0 to 3, this Q star. We have to find the area from 0 to Q star below this demand curve. So these are our limits. And we are differentiating this particular function. We have been given this function in terms of price, like price is a function of quantity. So we have to integrate this particular function with respect to quantity demanded. Okay, so it will be like we have to integrate this given function P with respect to dq, quantity. And we will have to minus this particular area of this rectangle. And what is the area of rectangle? Base into height. Area of rectangle, base into height. So your base is Q star and your height is P star, or you can see what this base OQ star and this price OP star. And we have a value for this. Your Q star is 3 and your P star is 9. So you will get the value of area of triangle 27. This is the value for your triangle. Sorry, I'm saying again triangle, but this is a rectangle. Sorry for this particular rectangle. Okay, we got the value. Now we have to derive an expression for this whole term, total area below the demand. So in general, it will be P star into Q star. So this is the formula, or okay, this is the general formula. Sorry, बहुत disruption हो रहा है आज. So these are our formula, general formula for consumer surplus. Okay, that we have limit from 0 to Q star. We have to find the area of this demand curve, total area between 0 to Q star. So we are integrating this demand function. We have been given a demand function. We have to integrate this particular area with respect to quantity demanded. Okay, because we are taking the limits from 0 to Q star. And then we will minus this whole total area and we will minus this particular rectangle out of it. Okay, so solve it using this particular given demand function. So we will write it like this: CS is equals to, so our limits is, your Q star is given as 3, so this is your limit. Your P is given as 27 minus 3Q minus Q square. Okay, and we have to integrate this demand function, and again your P star and Q star. So your P star and Q star given as 9 into 3. Okay, let's solve it. So integration का एक general formula रहता है that I will tell you. When x raised to the power, you have to integrate this particular x which has power n. It will be like x n plus 1 divided by n plus 1. Okay. And integration like आप समझो multiplication. आपको इसको now you are integrating this particular term this with respect to q. तो इसका मतलब ये है कि आपको ये तीनों जो वैल्यू है ना इसको पूरे में एक q से मल्टीप्लाई कर देना है. फर्स्ट आपको समझने के लिए आपको q से मल्टीप्लाई कर देना है. ओके, सो लेट्स से इसमें से कोई भी एक टर्म ले लेते हैं. You have this, okay, you have to integrate this particular term, or let's say you have q square. So your x is equals to q. In this case your n is equals to 2. Integrate this particular q square with respect to q. So what you will do, q n plus 1 divided by n plus 1. So n is 2 plus 1. So you will get the final integrated value as q by 3 Q/3. ओके, एंड नॉर्मली मैं इसको याद कैसे रखती हूँ, जिससे आप एक को आप जैसे आपने जिसके भी रिस्पेक्ट में आप इंटीग्रेट कर रहे हो उससे मल्टीप्लाई करोगे एक यूनिट से, जैसे क्यू स्क्वायर है, वैन आप इससे क्यू से एक और मल्टीप्लाई कर दोगे क्यू स्क्वायर को क्यू से, तो यू विल गेट Q3, एंड जो भी आपकी पावर है उतना ही वैल्यू आप डिनोमिनेटर में रख दो, जो भी पावर है यहाँ पावर 3 है उतना ही वैल्यू आप डिनोमिनेटर में रख दो। ओके, तो आपको जैसे इजी लगे आप वैसे कर सकते हो। This is the general formula for integration. We are going to use this only. So we have been given this particular value. Let's solve it. So we have limits 0 to 3 and we are going to integrate this particular term, then we'll write it like this. We are integrating now. So we have been given like 27. So when you integrate it, like you are multiplying one q with it. So when you multiply it with q, you'll get 27q, but it has a power 1. So when you write 1, तो हम 1 लिखते नहीं है. Okay. Sorry, it is not plus, it's minus. माइनस 3q ऑलरेडी गिवन. आप एक और q से मल्टीप्लाई करोगे तो ये हो जाएगा q स्क्वायर, एंड आपकी पावर क्या है ऊपर 2, तो आप 2 से नीचे डिवाइड कर दो इस टर्म को. ओके, ये याद जाएगा Q3. ओके, एंड व्हेन आपकी पावर 3 है आप 3 से डिवाइड कर दो इसको. सो दिस इज योर इंटीग्रेशन. लिमिट्स आपकी क्या थी, 0 3 माइनस 27. ओके, व्हाट इज योर 27, p स्टार इंटू q स्टार. नाउ वी हैव टू लिमिट्स. मतलब लिमिट्स का मतलब ये है कि जब आप एक बार q की वैल्यू 0 रखोगे एंड एक बार q की वैल्यू 3 रखोगे, फिर आपको देखना है इनके बीच में जो भी आपका वैल्यू आता है वो होगा आपका कंज्यूमर सरप्लस. तो फर्स्ट पुट द वैल्यू ऑफ q एज 3 अपर लिमिट, दिस इज द लोअर लिमिट. 27 एज q minus 3 square divided by 2 minus 3. Like this, first you will put q is equals to 3, then you will put q is equals to 0. These are the value of q. Minus 27. Let's solve it. So when you solve it, you will get 81 minus 3 into 9 divided by 2 minus 27 divided by 3 minus 27. ओके, अब इसे सॉल्व करते हैं. 81 minus 27 divided by 2 9 27. So in this case you will get 81 minus, ये पूरा टर्म माइनस में, तो इसको एक साथ इस तरीके से लिख सकते हैं 13.5 plus 9 plus 27. So you will get 81 minus 49.5. So your consumer surplus is equals to 31.5. So in this particular demand function, you will get a consumer surplus which is equals to 31.5. Okay. अगेन एक बार मैं फिर से स्टेप बता दे रही हूँ. इसमें सिंपल सा है. इंटीग्रेशन में आपको एक जिसके भी रिस्पेक्ट में आप इंटीग्रेट कर रहे हो जो भी पर्टिकुलर फंक्शन, हमारे केस में डिमांड फंक्शन है जिसे हम क्वांटिटी डिमांडेड क्यू के रिस्पेक्ट में इंटीग्रेट कर रहे हैं, तो उसको इजीली समझने के लिए आप क्यू से मल्टीप्लाई करते जाओ सारे टर्म्स में. जब आप क्यू से मल्टीप्लाई करोगे तो जो भी आपकी पावर आएगी उतना ही आप डिवाइड कर दो. दिस इज द सिंपल ट्रिक. अदरवाइज यू कैन यूज दिस पर्टिकुलर फॉर्मूला दैट एक्स रेज टू द पावर n. आपको इसको इंटीग्रेट करना है. ओके, देन यू विल यूज दिस पर्टिकुलर फॉर्मूला, x को n+1 डिवाइडेड बाई n+1. ओके, आपको जैसे भी इजी लग रहा है आप वैसे याद रखें इसको. Finally, we got the consumer surplus in this particular case. Now let's do it for the second question. So what is our second demand function? So second demand function is given as p is equals to 6 minus x whole square. So जब आप इसको expand करोगे, it will this looks like as a a minus b whole square. So जब उसको expand करते हो, you will get a square plus b square minus 2ab. तो similarly आप इसको भी ऐसे expand करोगे, so you will get square of 6. Let me do it like this. 6 square plus x square, or you can use instead of x, this is your q. Okay, q square minus 2a into b. Your a is 6, and in this case your a is 6, your b is q. Okay, so you will get 36, square of 6 is 36, q square minus 12q. Okay, you can also write it this in this way, q square 12q plus 36. So you will get this value. So these two functions are same. इसको expanded form में इस तरीके से लिख दिया है. So when you put q is equals to 0, you will get maximum willingness to pay. So your so in this case when you put q is equals to 0, ये आपका formula given है 6q square. Okay, तो जब q is equal to 0 put करोगे, you will get square of 6, which is 36. So this is your maximum willingness to pay. So when q is equal to 0, your price is equal to 36, maximum willingness to pay. Okay, and this is the expanded form that we are going to integrate. Okay, now we will put these values in our consumer surplus formula. So we are going to integrate it. So this, so this is a quadratic function. So in this case, you will get a parabolic curve like this. Oh, sorry, this curve will not look like this. Okay, this is the quantity, this is price, this is your demand curve. Okay, so it's like why you got the this interception at this point. So you can get it simply like this, 6 minus q square, and when you put q is equals to 6, so you will get 6 minus 6 whole square, so it will be 0. So when your quantity demanded q is equals to 6, your price will be 0 like this. So at this point your q will be this, but in this case you have been given your q star as 2. So you have to find your p star at this particular q star. So like you will get q star here, 2 value q star, and you have to find p star at this point. So this will be your p star, and you got your p, which is equals to 36. You have to find p star, and this particular triangle is your consumer surplus. Okay, this is your consumer surplus. So you have to find the area of this particular triangle. So in order to do that, what we will do, first we will find the total area below this demand curve up to this q star, that is 2, and then we will again minus this particular area of rectangle, then we will minus the area of this rectangle, so that we will left out with this much of area, this much of area, that is our consumer surplus. Okay, so let's do it. First we have to find our p star. For that, once we replace this, okay, so once we replace this q star into our function, we will get our just use different color. Okay, so your function p is equals to 6 minus q square, and your q star is given as 2. So when we put it 2 here, 6 minus 2, 4 and square. The square of 4 is 16. So your P star will be 16. You will get P star equals to 16 and your Q star is 2. Put the value there. Put the value, okay? So again, now you got your maximum willingness to pay, P, which is equals to 36. So the difference consumer surplus is equals to P minus P star. That is maximum willingness to pay minus the equilibrium price. Okay, that particular triangle. This triangle is your consumer surplus. So let's integrate to find the consumer surplus. Consumer surplus. So we have to again, I'm writing the general formula from 0 to Q star. These are our limits. We have to find the total area below the demand curve up to this point Q star. And then we have to integrate this demand function with respect to Q, quantity demanded, and minus area of rectangle P star and Q star. Okay, this is our general formula. Now put the value. Okay, see the limits from 0 to 2. Your Q star is 2 and your function is given as 36 plus Q square minus 12Q. Okay, you have to integrate this whole term with respect to Q. And then minus P star and Q star. So your P star, what is your P star? 60 and your Q star is 2. Okay. So let's solve it. So we'll integrate it. Again integration का formula same है. First multiply this whole term with this Q. So 36Q. यहाँ का 1 है तो हम यहाँ 1 नहीं लिखते हैं. Okay. Then plus Q square, इसमें एक और Q से multiply करेंगे, ये Q हो जाएगा. And what is the power, इसको नीचे लिख देते हैं 3. माइनस अगेन 12Q, एक बार Q से मल्टीप्लाई करेंगे, यू विल गेट 12Q स्क्वायर पावर 2, डिवाइड कर देंगे. लिमिट्स क्या है? 0 to 2. योर Q स्टार इज 2. ओके, माइनस दिस 32. So first your Q is equal, this is a upper limit, your Q star, first you will put Q star is equal to 2 and then you will put Q star is equal to 0. but 0 पुट करेंगे तो होल टर्म 0 ही हो जाएगा, इसलिए हम लोग 0 पुट करते नहीं है, just to make our calculation bit easy. Okay, let's put the upper limit. 36 Q is equals to 2 minus Q divided by 3 minus 12 2 square divided by 2. Okay, and we can also do it like we have to minus this whole term from this, like 36 put 0. आप 0 से भी मल्टीप्लाई करोगे 0 ही आएगा होल टर्म, इसलिए मैंने लिखा नहीं था इससे पहले. अगर यहाँ 0 नहीं होता, कोई और वैल्यू होता, तो फिर हमें वो दोनों लिमिट लिखनी पड़ती. ओके, बट दिस होल टर्म इज 0. So we'll get plus 8 by 3 minus 2 6 2 का स्क्वायर 4. So we'll get 24 minus ये होल टर्म 0 है, बट हमें माइनस क्या करना था? 32. P स्टार इंटू Q स्टार, एरिया ऑफ दैट रेक्टेंगल, what is this? 32. Now solve it. 72 plus 2.66 माइनस, तो ये दोनों ऐड हो जाएंगे, तो इसको ऐसे लिख सकते हैं 24 plus 32. So it will be okay, just a minute. It will be 72 plus 2.66 74.66 minus, I'm using a calculator for this. My mathematical calculation is quite big, that's why. So when you subtract 74.66, you will get 18.66. This is your consumer surplus. This is the area of that triangle, which is equals to 18.66. So your consumer surplus is equals to 18.66, and based on this particular curve, you'll get the value of this particular triangle as 18.66, and this area of this rectangle, which is 32. So we have been done, and I hope आप लोगों को ये clear हुआ होगा. This calculation is very easy. You just need to remember the formula of integration. So this video is done. Thank you. Thank you so much for watching our content. If you find it helpful, make sure to like, share, and subscribe our channel. And if you had any queries and observations, please do let us know on our comment section. And you can also join us on our Telegram channel, where we'll upload all the links of the YouTube videos and also provide the PDFs and important book notes with respect to economics. Thank you.